2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know. Summer. Hey, this is nice too.
We are live, everybody.
Yay.
Verdale, could I please have a roll call?
Mr. McKenna? Mrs. Ling?
Present.
Dr. Lee Corns?
Here.
Mr. Stepanovich?
Here.
Mr. Dice?
Here.
Mr. Lemak?
Here.
Mr. Spadero?
Here.
Mayor Sinan?
All right, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any unlisted amendments tonight, Mr. Morris?
No, sir.
Thank you. That brings us to our consent calendar items. We simply have the approval of the minutes tonight. Are there any questions or concerns about the minutes?
I have none.
Hearing none, can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar items.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. That brings us to comments by the mayor. Mayor?
Thanks, Mr. Dice. Jim's got the slides. There we go, we're up and running. Farmers Market starts tomorrow night, right?
It's going to rain.
No, it's not gonna, it's gonna go around us. Anyways, it'll be every Thursday from now through September, down at the field there at the fire station between there and Medic 1, 3235 Salzburg Road. If you have any questions, call the Recreation Department here at the building. The next slide is glass recycling pop-up collection event is Saturday, June 11th at Veterans Field parking lot here. That's 4200 Sardis Road right here next to the municipal building, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sponsors are the Municipality of Murraysville, Republic Services. Residents are also encouraged to support the Loaves and Fishes Emergency Food Pantry by donating non-perishable food items. Food pantry volunteers will be at the pavilion accepting drive-through donations during the same hours. That's the same time as the pop-up glass event. Tuesdays at Tonson, we're getting ready for our small concerts out there. They're actually getting bigger every year. They start at 6:30 to 8 p.m. The dates are June 14th and 28th, July 12th and 26th, August 9th and 23rd. Any cancellations due to weather will be posted on Facebook and again, Murraysville, PARecreation.com if you have any questions or call here for the Recreation Department. Murraysville Recreation's Playground Program, June 12th to August 5th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., ages 6 to 12. Again, go to the Recreation website for more information. Here's a seminar which probably a lot of us need. Get organized. Home organizing, what if you can't take it with you? Tuesday, June 7th, fee $15. Register at MurraysvillePARecreation.com. Questions, call here and talk to Recreation. The extension is 131. The time is 6:30 to 8 p.m. Instructor is Jody Adams, Certified Professional Organizer, and the location is the Murraysville Community Center. Ready, Set, Run 5K. This is Tuesdays and Thursdays, June 14th to August the 4th, from 9 to 10 a.m. The fee is $65. The location is Murraysville Community Park. It's for ages 8 to 13. It's sponsored by National Alliance for Youth Sports, Pro Bike, and our Recreation Department. Again, questions at Murraysville PA Recreation or call here and extension 131. Small Fry Scramble, here's something new. Wednesday, June 15th, 6:30 p.m. Townsend Park. 2 mile, 1 mile, and half-mile trail runs for ages 12 and under. Again, there's more information on Murraysville PA Recreation and the numbers, extensions 131. Music Moves, Hop, Skip, and Jump. This is for youngsters age 4 to 5, June 14th to July 19th, 10 to 11 a.m. at the Murraysville Community Center. Instructor is Erica Etzler. The fee is $15. This is not a traditional dance lesson. Kids 4 to 5 will spend an hour listening to, enjoying, and moving to music while interacting with each other. There will be exercises emphasizing rhythm and movement to music. Again, Murraysville PA Recreation. And that, I believe, concludes my comments for this evening. Wait, one more reminder. The Murraysville concert in the park is August 13th, 3 p.m. to dark. Fireworks, food, games, and live music, if you can get that on your calendar at home so you save the date. That concludes my comment.
All right, thank you, Mayor. That brings us to comments by the Chief Administrator. Mr. Morrison?
Two quick comments. The new chief administrator will be sworn in on June 7th at 9 a.m. here at the council chambers. Everyone's invited if you wish to attend. And this is my last meeting as chief administrator.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Okay, that brings us to community input. Is there anyone who would like to give public input tonight? No one has signed up. For the good of the order, would anyone like to give input? Okay, seeing none, we'll just move right on to liaison comments and committee reports. Let's start, Jason.
Sure, thanks, Dane. The library met 2 weeks ago, and they put a lot of effort into the summer reading program, Oceans of Possibilities. That begins June 20th, and the sign-ups start on the 13th. All of this information I'm going to read is available on the website. Summer reading movie event is June 17th from 2:30 to 4:30. Registrations required for that. Stage Right presents Pirates. Come to the library on Saturday, June 18th from 11 to 12. A musical about a salty crew of colorful pirates. And lastly, It's a Hockey Night in Pittsburgh, 1893 to today. That's June 22nd, 6 to 7, here at the Murraysville Council Chambers. Registration is required. Those are the events. Overall, the library attendance and numbers are up, which is good. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Carl?
Planning Commission meets next week, and the Parks and Recreation Foundation will be later this month.
Awesome. Tony?
Okay, the Medic one did have a meeting this past month. Excuse me. They had 1,632 trips. 202 trips are for Washington Township, 258 wheelchair transportation. They are, right now, they did help the fires in Kentucky, so they sent a few crews down to help them out, so they're always doing things like that. They started a sexual harassment training program for all the employees down there, so that's something new for them. The other thing, their subscriptions up to $182,000. We had a nice discussion about subscriptions. A lot of people think it's a donation. It's not a donation, it's a subscription. And why that? Because you get something for your money, which is free ambulances service. And we talked about Monroeville. They don't have the same service in Monroeville that we have here. And there was a person, every time they have an ambulance go to their house, they have to pay $225 copay. There was a family last year, they said had 8 trips for ambulances, and they had to pay 8 times $225 every time that ambulance went to their house. When you get an ambulance in Murraysville from Medic One, if you gave your subscription, there is no charge. And people don't realize that. So I think we have to emphasize that more so that the people of Murraysville understand what that gives them when they give, I think, what is it, $52 or something now? What's that? Something like that? Yeah, for that, it is very reasonable, and you get your money's worth. So that's the main thing we talked about. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Tony. Jamie?
I don't have anything new to report for pension, but I will just kind of comment from my meeting or my comments at the last meeting. We have on the agenda tonight the approval of the consent for the assignment of Morrison's investment advisory contract for our pension funds. We discussed it last time and may again tonight.
Awesome. Thank you. Jamie?
So I attended the school board curriculum meeting on May 18th. I had to leave that to come here, so I couldn't garner any more information of what happened afterward, but from what I can gather, there were no joint concerns. Council. Oh, thank you. It's on now. Our next meeting is June 20th. That's a committee of the whole.
Thank you. Matt?
Not a lot new since the last meeting when I updated, but just a reminder that the cornhole, the concrete cornhole has been installed at MCP, and the Gaga ball is up and running there. MCP is fully open and obviously been in big use. Thank you to the Public Works, Bill and his team for getting that ready. It's been, baseball's been using the heck out of it, so that's going well. We're still doing the meetings with each of the neighborhood parks. So we were there last night, we were at Pedora. So we had, we've had at least someone show up at every one. There's some that you only get 1 or 2 people. Some we had, multiple families come and give their input. So it's very helpful to do that. I think everything else the mayor hit on of upcoming stuff here for the summer. So that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
Lastly, FTMSA, I'm sure as everybody heard, they did raise rates. It is now a flat $55 for all customers in Murraysville. They did do away with the garbage disposal fee. That being said, I attended their meeting. Again, they're well ahead of schedule of that DEP consent order. They hand out a very large spreadsheet every meeting, and they're just years ahead. So those guys are really working hard. On top of that, they continue with upgrades to the plant that are necessary. Again, as they went down there, they found more and more things on the plant that needed upgraded, needed changed. They're working on that. Lastly, they did vote to conditionally hire a few new employees as they've had some retirements. And they said all the candidates they got were really great, and they got to pick the best 3, I believe. So with that, we'll just move on to our workshop items. First item is under Public Works and Parks, which is a discussion concerning alcohol permits for the new clubhouse at MCP. Carly?
Good evening, Council. Thanks to many people who contributed and donated, and Public Works who got it all completed. The clubhouse at MCP is going to be open for rentals starting next week. We'll have the open house for council and staff Friday at 4. Because we intend for this space to be used for small meetings and events under 50 people, we'd like to consider an alcohol permit for rentals at the clubhouse. It's located outside of the main areas of the park, away from the sports fields. We just feel that folks might want to have a glass of wine or, light refreshments for their meeting or event there. So staff would like to request alcohol permits specifically for the clubhouse at MCP, but not the rest of the park.
Okay. Thoughts from council? My initial thoughts are there's other places where we do this. It would make sense to do it at the clubhouse. It's a specific venue. It's not the park as a whole. Anyone disagree with the recommendation from staff?
No.
Now we've had no issues where we're doing it elsewhere. So.
They said it's limited to 50, right?
That's about the maximum,
About the maximum.
seating, even with standing outside.
Imagine a big rager happening.
Right.
So I think.
And we do have cameras, so there's that level of supervision as well. And we haven't had any incidents in the past with the community center or any of the pavilions related to alcohol, so.
Okay. So I think we're good to proceed with the permits as outlined in the staff briefing. Any other questions, concerns from council before we move on?
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Thanks, Carly.
Okay. That brings us to our council action items under subsection 13. Can I have a motion for 13A, please?
Make a motion to advertise ordinance number 1060. Advertise ordinance number 1061-22, an ordinance amending Chapter 169 of the Murraysville Code, peddling and soliciting.
Second.
Jamie and Tony. Jim?
Yes, we discussed this at the last meeting. The council made basically two recommendations. Those were incorporated into the ordinance, one being 18 and under for the exemptions, and adding school and athletic organizations. And I sort of put in soliciting support for Murraysville-based organizations to try, just to limit it to the Murraysville group. So those were incorporated in the ordinance.
Okay, I understand there was a robust discussion about this at the last meeting. Are there any questions or concerns about the advertising?
I don't have a question about the advertising, I just have one question. When they go online, I'm assuming this is gonna be all online, the sign up, is there anything when they sign up that essentially secures their knowledge of the exceptions that are listed on the ordinance?
Oh, the ordinance will be referenced as part of the application. We'll set it up as a hot key that they can go to the ordinance and read it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. That brings us to 13B. Can I have a motion, please?
Consider approval of advertising ordinance number 105822, an ordinance to amend the code of the municipality of Murraysville, chapter 210 thereof, entitled Vehicles and Traffic, as follows: to add to Schedule 13, parking prohibited at all times on Carousel Drive from Coval Court to Manor Road.
Just to clarify, are we advertising it or are we voting?
There's an error there. It's approval of the ordinance.
Yeah.
Approve it.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, so let the minutes reflect that this is to approve the ordinance, not to advertise.
What happens when you cut and paste old briefing?
I've been
That
there.
was already advertised.
The average, yeah. Okay, so we have a motion and a second for the approval of the ordinance. Jim, anything to go over?
No, we've been beating this around for a while.
All
You're
right.
still parking there, huh, Jim?
Yes, they are. As of 5:30 this afternoon.
Have you gotten any phone calls or feedback from the residents there about the ordinance?
No.
Police are going to have some fun.
Yeah, it'll be rough at first. Okay, so before we vote to approve this, are there any final questions or concerns? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ordinance passes. Thank you. That brings us to 13C. Can I have a motion, please?
Consider approval of ordinance number 1059-22, an ordinance accepting a lease for oil and gas rights for approximately 40.51 acres of municipally owned property, tax numbers 49-19-00-0-044, 49-19-00-0-045, 49-19-00-0-077, 49-19-00-0-078, and 49-19-00-0-079, known as the Staymates Cabin property.
Second.
Thank
The motion.
Jamie and Jason, and thanks for biting that off, Jamie. Questions or concerns from council about 13C?
It is staff's recommendation that the lease payments, and the royalty payments that are unknown at this point, but the lease payment of $81,000 go into capital reserve for future recreation projects.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, with that being noted, any final questions or concerns? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes unanimous. That brings us to 13D. Can I please have a motion?
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1060-22, an ordinance accepting a lease for oil and gas rights for approximately 8.87 acres of municipally owned property, tax number 49-20-00-0-07, General Forbes Court.
Second.
Me and Tony. Jim?
Same thing. The prior property was for the well, the Olympus well at the landfill site. This is for the Metis well, which is over by Schramm Farms. Again, the same recommendation, the lease payment and the royalties, which are unknown at this time, that are 16% be used for recreation projects in the future.
Okay, thank you. Final questions or concerns?
We haven't had any big complaints about Olympus so far.
None so far. None have hit the desk, and they're getting ready to frack. They're loaded up there for Bear. I was just up there this afternoon, and the interconnect is just about complete.
The sound barriers seem really a lot more effective than what we've seen in the past.
Well, we were advised that they're also going to use electric generators up there, so that'll help a great deal.
Wow.
Oh, nice. They hadn't committed to that.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm going above and beyond.
And just as a side note, the Hermes well will be going to Planning Commission next week over on the Mills Farm, Logan's Ferry Road.
Okay, that'll be a big one. All right, before we vote, any final questions, concerns about 13D? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, 13D passes. Can I please have a motion for 13E?
I'd like to consider approval of the consent for assignment of Morrison's Investment Advisory contract for the municipality, non-uniform, and police pension fund through
Just as it's there.
And co.
ANCO, okay, I thought it was a misprint there.
No.
And ANCO LLC.
Second.
Thank you, Tony and Jamie. Jim?
As was reported, Morrison Fiduciary is retiring. They've entered into an agreement with ANCO to pick up their clients. This is required under the SEC that we acknowledge that we've been informed of that transfer, and this will enable ANCO, prior to the actual transfer, which will happen in 2023, to begin to get some of our data. I included in the Dropbox the agreement of notice and also the agreement that was in place since, I believe, 2018 with Morrison Fiduciary for the investment plan. And again, no relationship there.
Okay, questions or concerns from council?
Jim, with the new chief administrator coming on, probably you don't want a lot of extra things to do as you're heading out, but I think last time one of the things we had mentioned was we've got a long timeline, we have a long period for transition with this pension change here. But we talked about starting to spec out a little bit who some of the other communities that are similar to us, who they're using to manage their pensions.
I've made calls. I've not gotten information back yet from them.
Okay.
That's one of the flexibilities we have here. We can withdraw at any point if the pension board wants to make a recommendation that we go out and get other proposals.
Okay. So that's something I'd still like to look into. I think they said that they typically hold their pricing. They'll respect the same pricing, but typically for, what did he say, 3 years, I think, maybe 2 years?
That's correct.
So maybe it's worth looking into still.
Yeah, no,
That's a good idea.
definitely something to monitor, a new relationship, no doubt.
The
Lots of time.
Morrison Fiduciary has been a good relationship with the municipality, and they've done very well with the plan.
Absolutely.
We've gone through some really large ups and downs since they've been on board.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think we at least have a plan to move forward for the immediate future. Any questions or concerns about the immediate motion 13E?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We have nothing under community development, nothing under engineering. We do have a 16A under public works. Can I have a motion, please?
Make a
Got it, Mac.
Make a motion to consider awarding a contract for asphalt products to Tresco Paving Corporation for use in the Department of Public Works during the contract year June 1, 2022 to May 31st, 2023.
Second?
Thank you, Mac and Jamie. Bill?
Good evening. The last time we were here talking about asphalt, we rejected the bids and we wanted to go with a better mix. So we spec'd ID2 Waring and we had one bid come back, and that was Tresco Paving with the one bid. I thought the price was a little bit on the high side, but we're getting a whole lot better material. And something else we intend to do is currently we're doing a lot of mill and patch work for the treatment roads and the asphalt roads for engineering. We're going to probably go to use a CoStar type bidding, and we're going to buy a little less, cheaper material, but we're covering it anyway, so I have the ability to do that, and I still have the standard of it. It's going to be good material, it's going to be covered, and I think we win by the cheaper price going with CoStars, but staff wishes council to approve the Tresco contract.
Okay. To say it's a little bit expensive right now is probably a good thing considering everything else.
Everything's coming up. I think if we reject it again, I think we get a higher bid at this point. I think that index is still coming up, and when we're talking the asphalt index, CoStars will actually be graded by the index as well.
Okay, wonderful. Questions or concerns from council?
Not a concern, but how many bids were sent out?
3.
3. And
I
just-
sent to the 3 bidders that originally put in for asphalt, so they kept it, everybody was able to bid it.
Everybody understands the philosophy behind using the ID2.
Final questions or concerns? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
I would like to say this is probably my last meeting, too, that I don't have a crutch. I've always had the ability to, Jim can read my face, Mr. Morse can read my face, and he knows when I'm stumbling or in trouble, and he can interject, so it's been nice to have the crutch and to have him along. I mean, he's actually put me through this. I was very reluctant to move into supervision at all, and Mr. Morrison's helped me through that, so
Absolutely.
Thank you, Bill.
have a good night.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Bill. Okay, a lot of changes. Any old business tonight?
Any old business?
New business?
What, old business, I'd like to offer council, I believe they're all in unison here, a thank you to Jim for many, many years of good service, a good partner to work with.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jeff.
Absolutely. It's somewhat surreal. I didn't expect you to say that. I lost track of time.
You
I'll
will be
still be
coming to the
around.
meetings?
Yes, I will still be coming to the meetings.
Okay, any old or new business?
Old.
No executive session, no outstanding action items. One more motion, please.
Motion to adjourn?
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's probably one of the better things that I remember doing coming back. We had